A school. So, like I said, I graduated boot camp April 7th, 2023. Now, as soon as I graduated, like we had Liberty, the next day I was on a flight to A school. My A school is Fort Lee, Virginia. And y'all, I'm not even gonna lie, A school was so fun. If the fleet was more like A school, I promise you I would have stayed in. I don't know what it was about A school, maybe because of the structure, but I low-key loved A school. I'm not even gonna lie. Y'all can call me a head ass, but I loved A school. Alright, so when we got there, we went to our rooms. My roommate, her name was Davis. She ended up being my bestie. And so yeah, I ended up finding like a group of people that I clicked with. Like I was cool. Nah, I don't think people liked me in A school. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I was cool with people in A school, but I had my tribe. So Rivera, Sands, Davis, like that was my tribe. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't even know where to begin about A school. Like A school was just overall. So my A school was only 5 weeks long. Some people, their A school can be like a year long, 2 weeks long. Mine was 5 weeks. Yeah. So I think did we start immediately? I think we started immediately. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I believe, no, we did start immediately. Yeah, so we started immediately. Some people, like, you have to wait for enough people to fill in the classes. I didn't. Yeah. A school, bro, I literally don't know what to say about A school. So A school, there were certain restrictions, like there was a 250-mile radius and you had to earn your right to go off base. You couldn't just go, at least for our A school. Every A school is different. For our A school, you couldn't just go off base. No, you had to earn to go to off base. Let's just say this. Actually, I did earn to go off base. I did. I'm lying. So you have to stay within your 250-mile radius. When I finally earned a liberty to go off base, I went to Williamsburg, Virginia. I went to Busch Gardens because if y'all know, I love Busch Gardens. And you know, military, they get you get in free every year. So we ended up going to Busch Gardens. That was fun, real cute. I met good people. I still talk to not most. I still talk to some of the people that was in my A school class or people that went to A school with me. I still talk to them. There were people who were in higher classes than us that I still talk to. Like, I don't know. I still follow them on Instagram. Like, they may or may not watch my videos. I don't know. But yeah, that was A school. I'm trying to think of like important moments to bring about A school, but I genuinely that's where so A school is where you learn about your job. Like you learn about your rate. So like I said, I was a culinary specialist. So in there, we did cooking classes, we did cooking and baking, and we learned the techniques of cooking. Like we learned how to cook pretty much. And then at the end of A school, what was so fun is that it was called Galley Week, I think. And that pretty much means that your class, like y'all create the menu, y'all like cook the food, and y'all gotta cook for the whole school, or y'all gotta cook for the instructors for the school. And I can't lie, that was so fun because what did we make? I think we ended up making did we make oxtail? Yeah, we ended up making oxtail. Apparently the oxtail was for another class to make, whatever. Like we ended up making the oxtail and it was good. I can't remember. Did we? Am I tripping? No, I think we ended up making oxtail. I don't know. We made something. But the food was good. We had to make breakfast and lunch, and it was just overall a good experience. And then on one of the days, like the last day, we ended up being able to cook for the whole school. So even the people who was in A school, even they was eating, and they was, and we remember from other classes doing this, because every week it was somebody's new galley week. So we was always so at the end of the week, we would always try a new class's food, and we would rate it this good, yeah, y'all could cook for real. And then there was other classes where we was don't do that again. So yeah, I think honestly our class, like, what was we, class 25? I think we had the best food, but that's just me personally. Um, yeah. What happened at A school? I'm trying to think of anything fun, like something that's worth telling happened at A school. I guess if y'all have questions, like I'll answer y'all questions about A school, but honestly, I don't think, oh, we had to muster every day. Oh, so Monday through Friday, it was school. It started at like, what time did school start? I honestly don't know. I think it was like 8 to 3, like school hours. I don't know. So, and our A school, you couldn't have no phones. One, we was on an army base, and two, we just couldn't have phones. So, no, y'all want to know something so funny? Because I told somebody, he was a Marine. I told him this guy in the Marines, I was like, yeah, I can't have my phone like during school. And he was like, what, they think you gonna steal the ingredients for lunch or something? And I don't know why that was so funny to me. Like, telling y'all it might not be funny, but to read it, it was so funny to me. I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, so we ended up we did school. Then that's when we got out of school, and if you had duty and you had watch, then you had to stay on watch, or you had to be on duty, and you had to muster like 3 times a day, not twice. If you have duty, you muster 4 times. Something like that. If you don't, you only muster twice. I hardly ever got watch. But when I did, I could not stand it. But then I ended up being LD. Oh, I ended up being LD in A school. Y'all want to know why I was LD in A school? Because I still had my stress fractures. Yep. I still had my stress fractures, so I was LD again. So yeah, in A school you do march and you do have to PT like with your A school group, but yeah, I should have took notes on what to write, what to say, because I honestly can't think of nothing for A school. Like, yeah. So my graduation date, moving on, my graduation date was May 12th. May 12th, I graduated A school. I got a reward. I was like, what was great culinary specialist? It was something. I ended up getting a reward because I was my chief's favorite. I was my instructor's favorite student. I was the second favorite because it was somebody else, but that's not important. I was still the favorite. Sorry, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm the oldest daughter. If you know, you know. I crave academic and validation. So I'm a little teacher's pet. I can't lie. So yeah, I ended up getting like this award at the end. I was, bro, you want to hear another devastating moment? So when you're in A school, you have the opportunity to rank up. So say I came in as a seaman recruit. Like, I came in as an E1. I had the opportunity to go to an E3. I had the opportunity to rank all the way up to a E3 or an E4. But you had to get an average. Like, I think it was like a 95% average for school. I had a 93. Like, I was like this close from getting that award. Bro, talk about heartbroken, bro. But yeah, I ended up going on, in A school, they tell you where you're stationed. Sometimes, no, you actually learn this in boot camp, but some people don't know until they get to A school, but I knew. So you find out like where you're stationed. So I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia on the USS Eisenhower. I could say that, right? Because I'm not on that ship no more. Yes, I was on the Eisenhower, CDN 69. They're currently on deployment. They're gonna be back soon. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So yeah. I ended up, so I graduated May 12th. After A school, you get about 2 weeks of leave, and most people go back home or they visit their family or they go on vacation. I'm not even gonna lie, I stayed in Norfolk. I got me an Airbnb for 2 weeks, and I stayed in Norfolk. I got to know the area a bit, and yeah, and I honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, I miss the Airbnb. It was so many memories, like so many things like I did or had fun. Like it was just fun, but you know. And then at the, like closer to the end, when it was time for me to check on to the Eisenhower, like go onto my ship, like get off leave, my friends from A school ended up like coming to spend the night too. And we had fun. We went skating. We went to Hooters. Like Davis ended up getting stationed in Washington. Oh, one thing about the military, you are going to meet the coolest, you're going to meet the best people, you're going to make great connections, and then you're going to find out that you're probably not going to be stationed with them, or you're going to be like, yeah. Johnson's all the way in Spain. In Spain. Davis, she's in Washington, but she's going to Japan. And you know, you get the vibes. Like, so Sands and Rivera, they ended up being stationed in Virginia. So period. Now, so you know, and yeah, we ended up hanging out. Then we checked onto our ship. So I went to the Eisenhower, and I think this is all where it just, I wouldn't say it went downhill, but it kind of went downhill. So I went to the Eisenhower May 27th. May 27th, that was like a Saturday or something. Or it was like a 72 or a 96. It was something. Nobody was there. I think it was Memorial Day. It was something like it was hardly nobody there. So I check onto my ship. They put me, although I'm supplied, they put me in air department. Air department was so dirty. I'm sorry. I just had to put that out there. Y'all, if y'all are a shopaholic like I am, or if you like having a lot of stuff, if you're a hoarder, anything, if you know that you get a sea bag, right? If you know that you can't fit your stuff in that sea bag, but you about to move on to the ship, get rid of that stuff, baby. Cause I came in there with a fat, bro, I think I'm gonna insert a picture of fat suitcase. I don't think I got a picture. Fat suitcase. I had like 3 suitcases. I'm not even gonna lie. My stuff could not fit there. I ended up having to get a storage unit because I did not have that much space. And I lived on the ship because, I mean, I was 18. Like, what? Anyways, so, mind you, let me take y'all back. When I was in boot camp, they told me, I said, oh yeah, I'm going to the Eisenhower. They was like, oh, you better go on deployment. Everybody looking at me like, dang, deployment? I went on deployment. You mean to tell me I spent 7 months in boot camp and now I'm about to go on deployment? Please. So yeah. I ended up checking onto my ship. Like, I met there wasn't much people, so they was like, yeah, just come back. Cause my sponsor, shout out to my sponsor, me and my sponsor actually have the same birthday, July 20th, period. So that's my girl forever. Like, I love her. She's older than me, but like, that's still my girl. But yeah, so my sponsor was in, like, was she in DR? She was on vacation. So I literally had nobody. Like, I was texting her and she was like, oh yeah, I'm on leave right now. What? So I'm like, what? So then that's when somebody else ended up helping me check onto my ship. And so that was the process. I didn't start in the galley right away. I started in like something called 96. It's pretty much like a second cargo. If you know, you know. If you're supply, you know. Anyways, then that's when we were supposed to go underway. We went underway. Underway means out to sea. So underway and deployment are 2 different things. Deployment, you're supposed to stop at ports and go to different countries and visit different places. Underway, you're just floating in the middle of the ocean. I have no other way to explain it besides that. You're floating in the middle of the ocean. So our underway was 45 days. 45 days? And it started like June 15th, June 16th. So 45 days. My birthday? I was underway during my birthday, y'all. But it was my 19th birthday, so it was kind of like, I mean, I was tripping, but I wasn't tripping that bad. Like, it was like, okay, whatever. Anyways, they still made my birthday special. But anyways, yeah, I ended up going on a 45-day underway. It was hell. That, honestly, it was hell. It was hot. We had an inspection coming up, and my chain of command, the way they treated us, no. Mind you, CS already have long hours. I'm talking 4 a.m. to freaking 8 p.m. Sometimes, and because we had that inspection, sometimes it was like 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. that night. You had it, meaning 11 p.m. you just got out the galley. 4 a.m. is when you had to go back in the next day. So you could imagine how that went. Like, it was overall hell. I ended up hating my life. It was so funny because during that underway, mind you, I'm new. Everybody else, like, they was used to it. I wasn't. So yeah, I kept saying, I said, bro, I'm about to get out the Navy. I don't want to be in the Navy. I'm done. I kept saying that. Everybody like, yeah, okay. Like, we all say that. Yeah, I bet y'all do. But I mean it. I'm standing on business, okay? Big business. So yeah. So I ended up getting out the Navy. Oh, dang, my fault. So yeah, I ended up saying like I was getting out the Navy, like point blank period. Like, and then I ended up, while I was on the ship, while I was underway, my sciatica ended up messing up again. It ended up flaring up again. And now on top of that, I started swelling and breaking out. But it wasn't, hold on though, y'all. It wasn't no, oh, you swelling because you've been working all day, or you breaking out because of the ship because you on a ship. No, my hands were swollen, my face was swollen, my feet were swollen, bumps everywhere. Like, come to find out, I'm allergic to heat. It sounds funny, it does, but like extreme heat, which is what we was in, I'm allergic to it. Like, and the funny thing is, I didn't notice it on the ship. I've been noticed it. I noticed it in like A school or something, but I seriously like swell. Like, I'm talking like fingers fat. I swell in the heat. So yeah, I just had to add that y'all probably looking at me like, girl, you was just dramatic, but this is my experience, not y'all's. So anyways, so yeah, so I ended up like, and it was just overall, I'm not even gonna lie, I met great people, and I was able to like really meet the CSs and like make friends and all of that. But overall, that is when I truly did not want to be in the Navy, and it wasn't even like and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it was not the work. It was like I seen the way my chain of command worked, and I said, I don't want no parts in this. Y'all not finna talk to me like I'm crazy. Like, I don't care what your rank is. You're not gonna talk to me like I'm crazy. I don't, like, it was genuinely that, like, the talking to me crazy, like treating me some type of way because I'm this level and because I'm here and you're here. No, baby, I don't do that. No. So, and I'm sorry, like, to this day, like, even now in the workplace, like, I don't go for that. Like, you're not gonna talk to me any type of way. If you want respect, you gotta give me respect, and I'm gonna give you respect. Point blank period. Like, what? So, yeah. It had nothing to do with the work, to be honest. The work was cool. Like, I don't know, I enjoyed cooking. I didn't mind. But when you start, the way they treat you, or not even just your chain of command, like people in general, the way they are in the military, they're full of drama. They do that thing. It's like a black family. It is like a black family, or not even black. I'm not going to say that. It is like a dysfunctional family. You know, the people who when they around you, oh, I love you, ha ha ha, cousin, da 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 da. But as soon as you leave, oh, look at her. You see what she thinks she better than everybody. Da, 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 da. That's literally what it is. They used to tell me all the time in boot camp, they're like, the Navy is like high school. The military is like high school. I remember my Uber driver one day was a chief who would be on my boat during deployments and stuff. And she told me, she said, it's nothing but high school. All it is high school. And I'm like, what? Like, it can't be that bad. No, it's that bad. It's that bad. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to sugarcoat. It's that bad. So anyways, so yeah. after the underway, well, we got off the underway July 26th, so it kind of got a little better. Like, I was actually okay with it. Like, it got better. We ended up taking leave after underway, so I was on leave, and honestly, that's kind of where, like, I lost myself. Like, if I'm being honest, I lost myself. Yeah. So I took leave, and all I was doing was partying. And I ended up I'm not gonna say this. I ended up having a rough time. I hit a rough patch. And yeah, then that is when I got back off. Like, I was done. My leave was over with, and I had to go back to the ship, and I was in bake shop. Bake shop was cool. No, actually, I'm lying. I wasn't in bake shop yet. I was on night shift. Night shift was so fun. I'm not even gonna lie. I was still partying, but night shift was so cool because it was like it was like a certain way we used to set it up. So some people would work and other people wouldn't work, and then it would switch. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, night shift was cool. We had fun. It was laid back because we was in port, so nobody was really there for real. So anyways, yeah, night shift was cool. Then that's when, what happened? Was I in bake shop at the time? I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. Was I in bake shop or was I on night shift? Yeah, I was in bake shop. Cool. So once everybody came back, I believe, from like being on leave and everything, that is when we ended up like it's kind of like a shift change, but not really. What, like, they would call it so you are either on port side or starboard side. Port is left, starboard side is right. Yeah, remember that in boot camp. Yeah. Port, our watches, that's what they call them, watch. So our watch ended up changing. Watch pretty much means shift in this instance. So I instead of being night shift, I was in bake shop. Bake shop is literally in the name, it's bake shop. So it was like we were baking. That is when I fell in love with being in the Navy again. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, this is cool. But it was still BS happening. So it was like, what ended up happening? My chain of command, what was going on at the time with the chain of command? Oh, we ended up getting like a new FSO, like a new food supply officer. And she started getting strict. She started getting, like, it started going back to the way it used to be, like, strict about, like, your bun size and the nails and the, your hair color. And it was just, like, it was not fun anymore. Because me, I don't know. And before y'all, I knew what I was getting myself into with the military. But we went from having someone who didn't care for real about that stuff to someone who did care. So you can imagine that change. It's like, bro, he don't care and now you do. Like, that's how it was. It wasn't like the rules were fair. Like, yeah. Anyways. And then it was also like, it was a lot of like favoritism going on and picking sides. And our chain of command was like just the way they talked to people, the way they treated people. So I ended up like getting frustrated again. Like, bro, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm over this. Like, what? Then that's when I ended up getting hospitalized. And mental health hospitalized. And so when that happened, like, everything after that, like, ended up going through a seriously rough patch. And I told a friend about it, and my friend ended up like, so remember how I told you I was going through a rough patch? So I ended up telling a friend about it, and that friend ended up like reporting me to my chain of command. Mind you, this friend was not on the same ship as me. They told their chain of command, and their chain of command called me. So I mean, not called me, called my chain of command. And so one day, it was another frustrating long day. I was frustrated. I wanted to go because we had something called turnover. When you're in, like, it's something called turnover. So you work for a certain, this is for CSs. So I think it's like called 3 on, 2 off, something, 3 off, 2 on, something like that. But you work 1 week, you work 3 days, and then the next you're off the next 2, something. So pretty much if you worked Monday and Tuesday, you don't work Wednesday and Thursday, but you work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you work Wednesday and Thursday, that means you're not working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Something like, I think I said it wrong. It's something like that. Anyways, so when that ended up happening, so before you can get off, they have to inspect the galley, and they have to like turn over. It's called turnover. You have to turn over the galley to the next watch. So if you're on starboard side, say starboard side, you work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You still have to come in Monday morning, even though that's technically your day off. You still have to come Monday morning to turn over the galley to the next watch. So if you're starboard side, you work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you come in on Monday, you turn it over to port side so that they can do theirs. However, in order to do that, the galley has to look a certain way. Everything has to be a certain way. So sometimes turnover is like at 7 or 8 a.m. Sometimes turnover, the galley won't be turned over until 2 p.m. And this is just my ship. I don't know how other ships work, obviously, but that was how my ship worked. So sometimes the galley wouldn't be turned over till 2 p.m. Yeah. So half your day gone. Anyways, so that would happen. That was happening that day. Like, it was just a hard turnover. Like, I was over it. I was frustrated. I think I was about to get in trouble or something. Like, I was supposed to be signing the counseling shit. Then all of a sudden, I'm walking back to the galley, and my chief is like, Herndon, there she go. And I'm like, oh boy, they done caught me. Let me go ahead and sign this counseling chip. Counseling chip is like a write-up. Like, you know how you get written up in school? That's what a counseling chip. That's what a counseling chit is. But if you get too many, that's when you get sent up. Anyways, so yeah, I was supposed to sign I thought I was supposed to be signing the counseling chit because everybody kept telling me, oh, Chief got a counseling chit for you. Chief got a counseling chit for you. What? Even though I low-key deserve that counseling chit. I'm not going. So then, that's when I go into the office, and it's an officer. It's my military officer. A suppo. We called her ma'am. She was the sweetest lady ever, but she was like in distraught. Like, she was just like looking at me. I'm like, bro, y'all had to get her to come give me my counseling shit. Like, I'm confused. I don't know what I'm getting called in there for. So then that's when she's like, are you okay? And me joking, and y'all know my personality, so I was like, no, I'm not okay. I was like, no. Why this lady was, then that's when she was like, I just got off the phone with someone from the Kearsarge. Soon as she said that ship name, I said, dang, I know what this is about. She said that ship name because that was the ship my friend was on. I'm like, what? Like, no way, please, no. She's like, and they're telling me that, and so yeah, I ended up being hospitalized. So I had to be escorted off the ship by a second class petty officer. Mind you, everybody on the ship is nosy. So like, I was trying to pick someone who wasn't that nosy. So yeah, so I ended up getting escorted, and I had to go to the hospital right then and there. Stop it. Pretty much no. And I was supposed to be going to Starbucks. So I text my homegirl, and I was, okay, y'all, I gotta hurry up this video because Now I done ran out of storage on my SD card, and I low-key, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I do not feel like going all the way upstairs to get a new SD card. So I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm recording off my phone, so I'm sorry for how the quality changed. Anyways, I'm gonna try to hurry this up. So boom, so I ended up like going to the hospital. I was hospitalized for about 2-3 days. I honestly needed that. Like, that's what I needed. When I was there, they asked me, they was like, do you want to get out the Navy? I said, I like the Navy. I just don't like my chain of command. They looked me dead in my eyes and said, okay, well, we're still going to recommend you get out the Navy. Give me a chance. Like, give me one more chance. Give me one more chance. So, yeah, so I ended up, they ended up like, we're about to recommend you get out the Navy. Oh, okay. Really? It's screw what I just said, huh? So yeah, then that's when I went back to my ship, and my chief, I was technically supposed to work that day. My chief was like, you don't gotta work this day. Like, come tomorrow. Cool. I still was partying, but it wasn't as hard. I was partying, but it wasn't that hard. My ship ended up going underway, but I didn't go underway. I stayed back. Like, they went underway like the next week or so. I didn't go. I ended up having to get a barracks, and because I was living on the ship, but obviously I can't live on the ship if they're going underway. So I ended up getting a barracks, and I ended up getting the barracks, and I met this one girl. She was so sweet, so nice. That was my favorite. She was a good roommate. She was a good roommate. All my roommates was good. I was about to say that was my favorite roommate, but that's like so weird. Like, she was a good roommate. She was a nice roommate. So yeah. After that, my ship came back. I returned back to work, but still I'm partying, but not like I used to, because now it's like, dang, like, yeah. Then that's when I just went back to work. Like, I went back to work. I was falling out with certain people, or I was like disagreeing with certain people, or I was involved with the wrong crowd. A lot of the things, and I will tell y'all about the military, is you have to find your tribe, because you will end up meeting a lot of people who are like no good, and you will fall into that path, and after that, it's like no saving. Luckily, I was saved. Like, at first I was frustrated that my friend went and told like my chain of command what was going on with me, but I low-key appreciate that person for that. So yeah. So then that's when, this is around, mind you, this is all around August now. I don't think I gave y'all the timeline, but this is August of 2023. So now it's about to be September, and it's September now, and I'm still working a bake shop. No, I end up going to bake shop. I end up I'm sorry. I was already in bake shop. I'm tripping. So yeah, I end up being in bake shop, and still loving bake shop, like still cool with bake shop. I started like just changing my friend group to like some other people, and that's when life started getting a little better. Like, life was life, and like it was okay. Like, I was still going through it mentally, emotionally, all of that, but I had a better support system, kind of. Then so then that's when, what happened? Oh, so September, I'm working, enjoying my off days, whatever. Then that's when October comes around, and technically my shit was supposed to go on deployment October 13th. As far as I knew, I was going on deployment. Nobody had told me. So I ended up going to the ship psych, and like, I was like, hey, they told me I could get my referral for therapy here. My ship psych looked at me. He said, your last name? He was like, Herndon. Oh, I just sent your papers for separation up. No one had talked to me and told me that I was getting separated and nothing. They didn't tell me, like, they were supposed to ask me, like, do you want to get out? Like, they were supposed to assess me. Nobody did. They sent my papers straight up without talking to me. So then that's when I was like, oh, okay. Like, what about my referral to therapy? And he was like, oh, I haven't done that. Dude. So, so yeah, so he ended up putting my referral for therapy in, and then that's when I started therapy. Well, I didn't start right away, but I called and set up my appointment. Why they tell me my first appointment was until October 26th? Mind you, I was supposed to be going on deployment October 13th. So you mean to tell me I can't even talk to nobody about if I want to go on deployment, if like I can't even talk to nobody before deployment? I just got to deploy? So yeah, then I'm still hanging out with my friends, having a good time. Like, that was honestly my best. Like, although the Navy was like, I had my problems and complications with Navy, I also had a lot of fun. I can't lie, I had a lot of fun. Even in my dark days, I had a lot of fun. So, I was partying, like, but not too much. Like, I was trying to watch myself. So then that's when 2 days before deploying, they told me, my chain of command told me, they asked me, mind you, everybody was like, oh, you're going on deployment? Like, what? You going on deployment? And I'm like, they was like, I thought you was getting separated. Like, what's going on with you? I don't know. I don't know. Then that's when one day I walked into the office, and my senior chief was like, oh, Herndon, do you have a barracks room? Do you have somewhere to stay? Man, what? What do you mean? Come to find out, I wasn't going on deployment. 2 days before Wednesday, we deployed Friday. Wednesday, they told me, they said, oh, you're not going on deployment. What do you mean? So, I had already started buying stuff for deployment. I was already gathering my things for deployment, just for you to tell me I'm not going on deployment. Mind you, I had already been psyching myself up. Like, okay, they said we're going to hit this, and this ports. Like, I'm cool. Like, okay. No. So, literally the day before deployment, that Thursday, they were scrambling to find me a barracks room. So, they waited until like Thursday at 6 p.m. Thursday at 7 p.m. Everybody was already getting off the ship to like getting on and off the ship to like bring. Literally, they was deploying that next morning. So everybody and their mama was coming on the ship to drop their stuff off. Mind you, I'm grabbing my stuff to get off the ship. They was like, what? Like, where you going, Kai? I'm not going on deployment. It took them to 7 p.m. to finally get me a barracks room. Like, I was finally able to get a barracks room and go and whatchamacallit, and put my stuff there and go to live. So that was frustrating. And all of this is happening, but they still not telling me like what's really going on with me. Like, am I just not deploying? Am I deploying later? Like, am I getting separated? What's happening? 2 weeks after they deployed, they finally told me, oh, Herndon, you're getting separated. Okay, I guess I kind of figured that. Like, it was like a smack in the face, but not really, because I knew it was coming, but I didn't. Like, they wasn't being clear with me. Then that's when, as time is going on, and I was on something called, what do they call it? Beach debt. Beach debt is when you stay behind, when you're underway, when your ship goes underway or on deployment. That's where you go. You go to beach debt, and you stay behind, and they may assign you tasks. They may not. They ended up I was on beach day and they ended up telling me like, oh, no, you're not getting separated. They're going to fly you on soon. So you need to make sure you have everything ready because any moment now you could be flying back onto the ship. Cool. Okay, that's not really what I want because I had already prepared myself. Like, you told me I was getting separated a month ago. So now you telling me I'm not getting separated? What's going on? Like, what do y'all want from me? So at this point, I'm like, dang, I was low-key ready to get separated. Then that's when they told me that. And so now I'm preparing to go back on the ship. Then they said, no, you're not flying onto the ship. What you doing? Yo, I swear I cannot make this up. Like, they went from telling me 2 days before deployment that I was not deploying, 2 weeks after deployment that I was getting separated. A month after that, they told me that I was flying back onto the ship. Then now they telling me that I'm getting separated. So by this time, it's like December. It's December now. And so now I don't know what I'm doing. January, I spend the holidays with my family because, you know, Norfolk, Virginia from DC, that's not that far. So I spend the time with my family. And then that's when I spent the holidays with my family. Then January came around and what happened? So January, it was nothing. It was quiet. Didn't know if I was going, if I was staying, didn't know what was happening. February, oh, you're getting separated, Makai. It's final. You're getting separated. Cool. Mind you, hold on, y'all. Let me say something. In November, so in order to get out the military, you have to take something called TAP classes. In November of 2023, I took TAP classes. While in TAP classes, they pulled me out of TAP classes to say, hey, you might be flying back onto the ship, so sign these papers. Mind you, I'm in the classes that are supposed to be helping me get out, that I need to take in order to separate from the military. So what do you mean I might be flying back onto the ship? So then that's when I see a couple of people off beach that they finally leave. Like, they finally get separated. Cool, good for them. So now I'm the only person on beach deck who has been at the separations progress for the longest. I was supposed to get separated. I started my separation stuff in August. It's now January. So January 2024. So it's like, cool, okay. Then that's when January is quiet, don't hear nothing from the ship. February is quiet, February is quiet for me. Everybody else starts getting their separation date. There was somebody who was supposed to fly back onto the ship, but instead they decided to separate him. They told him he was separated in 2 weeks. Mind you, I had been at the process the longest and still didn't get my information. They still didn't tell me if I was separated or not. Then that's when everybody else started getting their separation papers. Mind you, they started their process later than mine. Still, I don't got my separation papers. Finally, at the end of February, I get my papers. Like, this, what do they call it? 10-day letter. 10-day letter is not 10 days. It's 30 days. They told me, hey, this is when you're separated. I got out the military March 15th. And now I'm a culinary administrative assistant for a hotel brand. I kind of got the job because of my background in the Navy. My overall experience in the Navy is honestly, to this day, even though my experience with the Navy wasn't the best, but like, people in the military, whose really is, if you ask me, I feel like, honestly, I still, like, if somebody was to tell me right now, like, oh, I'm joining the Navy, I would congratulate them and, like, give them advice. Like, I would never sit there and, like, bash them, like, oh, don't join the Navy. Would I tell you to join the Air Force? Yes. But I'm, like, honestly, the Navy is what you make out of it. And this is my disclaimer. I told y'all at the end of the video I was going to make another disclaimer. The Navy, like, in no way am I bashing the Navy. I'm simply telling y'all how my experience went. I wanted to tell y'all why I was in boot camp for so long, why I got out, why I cut my contract early. Like, that's what I wanted to tell y'all. My Navy experience. I didn't want to tell you, oh, join the military. Don't join the military. No. I am going to end this here because I am a yapperoo, and this video took at least 2 hours, and that's honestly, I'm going to have to separate this into 2 parts or something. But yeah, I hope I addressed all the points. If I didn't, feel free to ask me questions in the comments. I love answering you guys' questions. I love seeing you guys engage with me. I know I gained a lot of subscribers, and a lot of those subscribers are for the Navy, from the Navy video. So I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry I've been MIA, a lot going on, but I'm back now, and yeah.